It's never a good day when you have to fire people as the CEO, but it also feels incredibly, I don't want to say justified, but it's kind of like this moment of "I told you so," where a lot of people are looking at Zuckerberg's laying off of 13% of Meta's staff, and saying "We told you so," because this is all based on the company blowing $15 billion on their Metaverse project, which was it was single-handedly Mark Zuckerberg's sort of mad scientist dream that I don't think had any real foundation in what people actually want to do on the internet. And so there's a certain justification to seeing that, you know, told you so. Well, at the same time, it sucks that all of these people are getting laid off, and are going to be out of jobs. But it also, I think, is a very interesting point in time to be looking at the fact that as much as big companies like Meta and even Epic Games, are constantly pushing this idea of a metaverse, of some sort of infinite virtual reality that we can all live in, I don't think a lot of these guys are in touch with reality because they have so much money. There was something I saw on, I think it was TikTok the other day, um, where someone was saying the last thing I want to do when I come home from work is log in to a virtual world and continue doing mundane tasks in a virtual environment that are similar to the tasks that I do in the real world. And for many people, video games are an escape. It's escapism. But when we're talking escapism, we're often looking at games like, I'm playing God of War Ragnarok right now. That's a fun escapist game. It's a fantasy-based world where I'm doing something completely different. It has nothing to do with the real world, and it's just log on, kill some monsters, follow a cool storyline, and be amazed at the amount of hard work that people put into that project. But the idea of like here's an example. My brother and I have a lot of discussions about ranching because they have a cattle ranch, and there was a guy he follows on TikTok who um, is doing virtual ranching on top of real ranching, and he's basically selling NFTs, and people are logging in and doing virtual ranching and raising virtual cows and virtual sheep and virtual, which is essentially it's just an upgraded, Farmville, farm life, whatever. Um, but the interesting thing is a lot of those people might be just working from home, and that's something they do when they're at home. But for a lot of people, when they work a stressful job and they're working all day and doing something else, they don't want to come home and go into a second world, a second life. They just want to come home and relax and unplug. Ultimately, I think that's one of the reasons the metaverse failed. Anyway, welcome. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfield. If you've gotten this far, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We're going to be talking about other stuff today, and beyond. So make sure to check out all the other stuff that happens here, and we'll talk about at the end how you can support the channel if you do like what you see here today. This is a really good article over at Kotaku, and it's basically talking about how they're laying off more than 11,000 employees, and they try to lay the blame at the foot of COVID, using it as an example of actually it was too good for them as a company because he says they had outsized revenue growth as a result of people spending more time and money online during lockdowns. And by the way, he's not taking a pay cut. He says many people predicted this would be a permanent acceleration that would continue even after the pandemic ended. I did too, so I made the decision to significantly increase our investments. Unfortunately, um, we saw a macroeconomic downturn, increased competition, and ad signal loss, all of which led to much lower revenue. I got this wrong, and I take responsibility for that. He may take responsibility, but he's not taking a pay cut, and that's always a big, big, big thing. Says he doesn't mention at all that the company wiped out its massive revenues in Reality Labs, the disastrous metaverse project that even the company's own developers don't want to use. The goal of the metaverse was to create some sort of online VR space where people will want to spend their time and money, which is not yet proven at all popular or successful for, I think, the reasons that I stated, towards the earlier parts of the video. I just don't think that people want to come on and do another version of the real world. When people want to log on and go do something fun in virtual space. They want to play Star Wars. They want to play God of War. They want to play a flight sim like Star Citizen or something. They want to do something fun. They don't necessarily want to log in and, you know, do the same thing they do in real world. Some of them might want to go off and do virtual ranching. I don't know. But NFTs are sort of a different conversation as to what was being built here. Um, they apparently decided not to respond to any comments or requests for more comments. It says fired staff will receive 16 weeks of base pay plus 2 weeks extra pay for each year of employment plus all their. By the way, this is how you do a severance package. Um, I can say this candidly because I refused to sign the severance package of the company that I was previously working with. They offered me an insultingly low amount of uh, cash um, in exchange for you know all the things that no, I didn't get any health insurance. I didn't get any paid time off. I didn't get anything. It was, but this is how you do a severance package, and this is actually fairly well for the people. Um, Says they're also going to be announcing sweeping cutbacks. This is the one that blew my mind. Desk sharing is going to be introduced for staff who work mostly from home. So when you come into the office, you're going to have to start sharing a desk with someone. They're also going to be sharing real estate, and there's a hiring freeze through quarter 1 of next year. And they said with Trademark Hebrews, he said, while it's a sad moment, I believe we are deeply underestimated as a company today. Huh? By the way, Elon Musk just fired half of Twitter's workforce the other day as well. So, I mean, it's just, that's what billionaires do. And I feel like these guys really don't have any touch with reality when it comes to what they think users want. I mean, the idea that Elon Musk is going to be charging for the blue check mark. I do believe that the check mark system was flawed in the first place because so many people who should have gotten it got it, and people who didn't deserve it didn't get it or got it anyway. Whatever. And there was a lot of people who had applied multiple times, had big followings and everything else, and the system is always like, you're not approved. And now people can just buy in, and which means the check mark is no longer going to mean that much. It just means that you're a preferred user. Hell, I can spend $8 a month. That's not that big of a deal. That's like basically less than a what's Netflix base subscription cost now? Like the ad based one. Um, I don't know. Food for thought. I didn't see any potential in the metaverse in the first place. I am a gamer at heart. Everything I do is related to video games, whether it's streaming here on my channel or a lot of the stuff that I talk about. I do, game dev. I've been in game dev for about 8 years now. Um, I don't see any real reason for the metaverse to become a thing yet. Virtual reality is still way too early in its infant stages. It's way too expensive for the average consumer. It's not something that every household is going to have. And as a result, it's just not something that most people are ready to invest in. Now, fast forward 10 years, maybe. It depends on how affordable the VR tech becomes in terms of getting it into the average household. It's just not there yet. So I think at the end of the day, this was a blunder for a guy who hasn't made a lot of blunders yet. Now, I think every person who's ever been an entrepreneur makes mistakes along the way. That's how you learn, that's how you grow, and you can't be a golden boy forever. And a lot of people say that, Zuckerberg is fucked up multiple times with like the privacy issues with Facebook and all this other stuff, but I don't think that the company has ever. I mean, a $15 billion loss is a big deal, and having to lay off, 11,000 employees is a big deal. I don't know, just my thoughts. If you got to the end and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Join as a member of the Adventurers Guild down there. There's 3 different tiers. Drop a super thanks. Hopefully, we'll see you in a live stream or a premiere. And don't forget to check out the Patreon page as well for what I'm working on with my wife and my brother. And I guess Lucas is back there. I didn't really pay attention that he's on the bed. See you next time, everybody.